Help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Hit like and leave a comment. I really do read them all. She stood in the kitchen with a new envelope in her hand and asked if I could cover her oil change that afternoon. The envelope had a gold sticker on it with the word personal written in her careful script. I knew she'd gotten a bonus the week before. I also knew she'd smiled when I brought home the grocery receipt, handed me a kiss, and didn't reach for her purse once. That envelope told the truth better than she did. She had money, and she wanted mine for everything else. Shop said it's overdue. Lauren tapped the envelope on the counter like a metronome. You mind? You got your bonus. That's for me, she answered. Hair, gym, a couple things. So you want me to keep lights on, gas in both cars, and you keep your envelope sealed? She didn't blink. You're better with bills. If I'd understood in that moment where it was headed, I'd have put the envelope through the shredder and saved both of us a month. Saturday felt like a checklist. Mow, laundry, fix that sticky drawer. I was reconnecting the drawer rail when she leaned against the doorway with a coffee, watching me like I was the staff. We're out of almond milk, she said. Oh, can you grab my prescription too? They said the copay's a little up. Your envelope's still sealed? I slid the drawer in and let it thud. She sipped. Nate, this again? Yeah, again. I wiped the sawdust from my hands with a shop rag. Here's what I'm seeing. When the bill says household, it somehow has my name on it. When the purchase says for me, you have a special bank. She rolled her eyes. I'm not spending family money on nails and trainers. That's responsible. What are gas, brakes, and a fridge that isn't empty? That's family. So, family is mine. Fun is yours. I paused and then straightened up. New rules. She frowned. What rules? Starting now, your personal costs are yours. My personal costs are mine. Household is split. 50-50. No gray zones. No soft definitions. No end-of-month tap on my shoulder. I'll text you the spreadsheet and set up 2 transfers, rent and utilities, from both accounts. You can't just decide that. I'm not asking permission. She placed the mug down harder than she had to. It's embarrassing when my card gets hit for groceries. Can you handle the run today and I'll Venmo? She stopped herself, then tried again. I'll pay you back. You'll pay half, I replied. Today. Nate, I thought you wanted partnership. This is petty. I leaned against the counter, calm. Partnership means shared load. Petty is me counting your yogurt cups. I'm not doing that. I'm splitting the bill. Today you bring cash, or your card meets the cashier. You're being harsh. I'm being clear. She pressed her lips together, then went for sarcasm. Fine. Do you want me to invoice you for the times I cook? Happy to count time. We can both put hours on a sheet and see who's subsidizing who. That's gross. That's reality. I grab my keys. I'll be at the store in 10. Come if you want. If not, I'll buy what I need for the week and you handle yours. Her jaw tilted. So now we're roommates. We're adults. She trailed me to the door. You're making this cold. You turned it into math when you brought out envelopes. The door closed behind me. On the way out, I pulled the joint card from my wallet, ran it through my keyblade, and dropped the pieces in the kitchen junk drawer. Halfway down the driveway, I heard her footsteps. Wait, she called. I'll come. At the store, she threw things in the cart like we were playing a speed game. I steered slower. Ring it separate. I told the clerk at checkout. 2 orders. Lauren blinked. Seriously? Seriously. The clerk looked between us. Sure. Lauren leaned close. You know I hate scenes. This isn't a scene. It's a receipt. She paid for her cosmetics and a small bag of things she called essentials. I paid for the rest. In the parking lot, she said nothing. Back home, I taped a printed sheet on the fridge. Rent split. Utilities split. Groceries split. Gas personal. Oil changes personal. Lines were clean, not angry. She stood reading it like it was a foreign language. You posted it, she muttered. So it's not a secret. Feels like a threat. Feels like a boundary. I pulled a little magnet shaped like a lighthouse from the drawer and pinned it. Next stop, auto pay. Monday. She stared at the word split, as if it might blink first. And what if I don't like it? Then you have a decision. I opened the pantry, counted cans, and added rice to my side of the list. She went quiet, and that quiet felt like a coil tightening, not peace. I left it. The rule was on the fridge either way. Tuesday evening, I had to pick up new drill batteries. Lauren rode along, flipping through her phone. We pulled into the hardware store lot as the daylight went soft. She touched my arm. While we're out, can we stop by the salon? I'm overdue. It's not a luxury. I meet clients. That's personal, I said. You know I bring home deals because I look the part. It benefits us. Then we'll both invest. You pay half my work boots too. They keep money coming in. That's not the same. Everything's the same when you're the one holding the ruler. I got out and closed the door. Inside, she shadowed me down the aisle, keeping voice low. I don't like what this is doing to us. What it's doing is drawing lines. I already contribute, she insisted. You contribute to yourself. I picked up the battery pack and checked the specs. Show me 1 month in the past 3 where you covered half without a reminder or a story. I can't find it. She put a hand on her hip. I pay for streaming. I pay for our takeout. Takeout on your birthdays and your girls' nights isn't our. Unbelievable, she whispered. A clerk with a name tag that read Evan came over. That helpful look any retail worker knows too well. Need help? I'm good, I told him, then added. Actually, you can help me with a policy question. If a customer buys something and the person next to them enjoys it, does the other person now own it? Evan blinked, then smiled cautiously. No, thank you. I looked back at Lauren. See, you're making a stranger the jury now? He saw what I see. You're dressing your wants as community projects. She rounded it off with a scoff and went to look at plant stands. I brought the batteries to the register. Before the clerk swiped, Lauren nudged my elbow. Fine, she said, pulling out her card. I'll get it. It's for the house. I watched her, felt a small loosen in my shoulders I didn't trust, and nodded. Appreciate it. On the drive home, she rested her head back and let out a breath like surrender. Look, I was off. I get it. Half. We can do half. We will, I answered. She reached over and squeezed my hand. That was her first soft turn. It tasted like peace and smelled like rehearsal. I stayed polite, not gullible. When we got home, she took meat out to thaw, cleaned the cutting board, and said, I'll handle dinner. Sit. Thanks. She cooked. We ate. She asked about my day like she cared about the answer, and maybe she did, but I held my footing. After dishes, she brought over that gold sticker envelope and offered it the way someone offers a truce. Here, she said, I'll put half of this in the joint tomorrow. You were right. Good. At midnight, putting laundry away, I saw a second envelope in the back of her closet shoe bin. Different color, no sticker, thicker. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. The first envelope was for display. The second was for the plan. That knowledge sat colder than the fridge light. Next morning, she texted, Quick reminder, can you cover the tires? I'll handle next month's utilities. I sent back a number. Tires equals personal. She didn't reply. That silence opened a new loop. Would she honor anything, or was last night a bandage? Luis and Maria from next door held a backyard cookout that Friday. Propane smell, lawn chairs, plastic cups. Mark from my crew dropped by, loud as always, and took over the playlist. Lauren floated between women with that bright voice that's almost a seminar. Maria asked across the table, How do you two do money? We still argue about who forgot to pay water. Lauren laughed, light and practiced. We have a system. He's the bill guy. I'm big picture. What's big picture? Luis smiled. Trip ideas. House goals. She tilted her cup toward me. He loves taking care of us. He's old school. I put my beard down and looked at her. Old school was what she called my wallet. Mark caught my eye with a look that said he'd keep his mouth shut if I wanted. I didn't. Let me adjust that, I said to the circle. New plan. We're split down the middle like grown-ups. Old school retired this week. Lauren's smile went thin. We don't need to discuss this here. You made it a talking point, I answered. I'm just updating the slide. Maria leaned in, curious. Split, really? How's that work with dinners, dates, all that? Simple, I replied. Personal wants live in personal accounts. Household costs are divided and paid from both sides automatically. No taps, no surprises. Lauren laughed again, but now it had an edge. He's in a phase. My phase has a spreadsheet and an end date, I said. End date? Maria asked. By Sunday night, we either run 50-50 with respect, or I move out to Mark's for a while until we figure out if we're a team. Heads turned toward Mark. He set his cup down. I got a spare room and a busted recliner, he said. I'll even wash the sheets. Lauren's eyes flashed. You threatened to leave me over an oil change? This isn't about oil. It's about you building a private lifeboat and tying a rock to mine. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Wow, she said. So dramatic. Numbers aren't dramatic. Dana, one of her friends, chimed in. Women need their own safety. Nothing wrong with that. Agreed, I told Dana. But you don't get safety by turning your partner into a subscription. You get it by agreement. Transparent. Fair. Dana shrugged. Sounds rigid. Sounds adult, Mark said. Lauren's foot grazed mine under the table. Can we not do this at Luis's backyard? You made us a case study, I replied. Be careful where you set your stage. She stood, made a show of tossing her cup, and walked toward the fence as if the herbs needed her opinion. Luis gave me a half grin. You too good. We will be, I said. On the way home, she kept it quiet until we pulled into our driveway. Then she fired. You embarrassed me. You set the track. I ran it. Maria's going to think I'm greedy. She can think you're learning. How dare you put moving out on the table? You put me on the table when you brought strangers into our finances for applause. That was a joke. Your jokes have costs. We went inside. She disappeared into the bedroom and shut the door with careful precision. I sat at the dining table, opened my laptop, and moved my direct deposit into my individual account, leaving the joint with a set weekly transfer that covered exactly my half of the numbers on the fridge. I canceled my card on the joint account. It wasn't a weapon, it was clarity. Then I sent her a calendar invite titled Sunday 7 p.m., Money and Respect. People treat calendar invites like real things. They should. At 11, she came out, hair damp, calm restored. You going to bed? In a minute. She stood there, searching for a soft entry. I shouldn't have joked about you. I hear you. I'll do better. I'm sure you will. You're still sleeping here, right? Tonight, yes. I closed the laptop. Tomorrow depends on whether we set a new tone or play with old tools. She studied my face like it was a puzzle. I don't want you to leave. Then stop acting like I'm your bank. Midnight, lights off, we lay on our sides like a photograph. In the morning, I found a third envelope in the hall table drawer under the mail. This one had a sticky note. Self-care. The note wasn't to me. It was to her future self. Kill turns aren't always cinematic. Sometimes they're just labeled. Sunday morning, she went long on nice. I woke to coffee already made, bacon in the oven, and her in a soft tea asking if I wanted pancakes or toast. She hadn't cooked both in months. What's the occasion? I asked. I miss us, she said simply. Me too. I'm sorry about the party. I was insecure and covered it with jokes. Not proud of it. Thanks for saying that. We ate. She asked, what do you need from me today? Follow the plan on the fridge. Move your half into the joint. Handle your tires and salon without touching family money. No taps. No shows. That's easy. She touched my wrist. I can do that. It's not easy for you, I said. But it's simple. She nodded and did the dishes with a little hum I'd never heard. By lunch, she was back to normal, a little extra affection in the way she asked about my week. Around 2, she came into the garage where I was sorting boxes and leaned on the door frame. Okay, she said light. Serious point. I'm fine doing half, but there are certain things a man handles. It's not control, it's protection. Like, if I need brakes, that's a safety thing. That's on you. That's not protection, I replied. That's cost shifting. I'm not nickel-and-diming. I'm talking about care. Provider role doesn't die because we live in spreadsheets. Provider role means I show up. I do. But I'm not paying you to keep your money out of our life. She waved it off. We're splitting everything else. Let me have this. It makes me feel taken care of. I won't feed a feeling that eats respect. She straightened. So it's no on brakes? Hard no. You want safe brakes? Use your envelope. She exhaled through her nose. You're not the man I married. The man you married doesn't pay for a partner who is saving for a solo exit. She flinched. That's ugly. So is a gold sticker on a secret stash while you invoice me for errands. She flashed irritation and then switched tactics, soft again. I made a transfer this morning, she said. Half of rent. Check the account. I checked. She had. I met her eyes. Good. And I scheduled utilities for the first of the month, she added. I can do it. I know you can. Then stop acting like I'm gaming you. Stop gaming me, and I will. Her jaw moved, then relaxed. 7 tonight, right? 7. At 5 she came in a sundress, hair brushed, makeup a notch sweeter. I thought maybe we could do our talk at the diner. Neutral ground. A booth. Pie at the end like adults who know they love each other. Here, I said. At our table. You prefer home for the verdict? I prefer home for the truth. She pouted a second and then let it go. Okay. I showered, packed a week's worth of essentials into a duffel, put it by the door, and took the spare house key off my ring and set it on the table. Not drama, logistics. If we failed respect by 8, I'd call Mark and tell him to open the spare room. That wasn't a threat. It was plan B. She walked past the door, saw the bag, paused. Really? Really? What am I supposed to do with that? Decide if you want a husband or a sponsor. She went to the bedroom. Drawers opened, closed. We were both pacing the line. 7 sharp, we sat at the dining table with the fridge sheet between us and our online banking open on my laptop. She had a yellow legal pad and a pen. When she's serious, she writes longhand like it makes it official. I'll start, I said. What I'm not doing. Paying for everything while you run a private surplus. What I am doing. Paying my exact half of household and all of my personal costs. What I'm asking, you do the same. This is not a debate. This is me describing the only terms under which I stay in a marriage. She tapped the pen. I hear your terms. Your move. Okay, she said. I will handle my personal spending. Nails, clothes, gym, hair, car maintenance, all me. I'll also transfer half for rent and utilities on the 1st of every month. Non-negotiable. But dates. Dates are either split, or we choose activities that respect both budgets. Sometimes I want to feel treated. Sometimes I will treat you as a gift, and sometimes you'll treat me as a choice, not an invoice. She considered, then wrote, gifts equals choice, not expectation. What about emergencies? We have a shared emergency fund. We build it equally. She nodded, then hesitated. I've been saving, she started. I know. I'll contribute a piece of it to the emergency pot. What piece? 20%. That's you investing 20 cents on the dollar after months of loading your envelope with my subsidy. 35. She met my eyes. 30. Deal. She wrote it down. And I want to keep some of that for me. For my sense of security. Keep what you want, I said. As long as you're paying the same freight I am. She exhaled. You really were ready to leave. Yes. You would have walked over money. Over respect. Silence. Then she pushed the legal pad away and looked at me without defense for the first time this month. I didn't think of it like that. I thought I was being careful. My mom always said, keep a little aside. It wasn't about sneaking out. It was about not being empty if something happened. I'm not something. I'm your husband. I know. She swallowed. I made you my safety net and my threat at the same time. That's a charming combo. It's a way to lose me. She looked at the duffel by the door and then back. I don't want to lose you. Then let's stop playing pretend. Delete the extra envelopes or keep them for your hiking boots and skincare. I don't care. But household gets paid first before you pay future you. She nodded slowly. Okay. She pulled her phone out, opened her banking app, and moved numbers in real time. Rent half is in. Utilities half scheduled. 30% of my envelope is going into the emergency fund. And I'm booking my car service for tomorrow under my card. Good. And I'm going to text Dana, she added. I'm done with the jokes. It wasn't funny. It was ugly. Appreciated. She scribbled a final line on the legal pad and tore it off, slid it to me. I'm committing to this, not to make you stay, but because it's right. I read her line. It was simple. Team, not tap. I put my finger on the words and nodded. She sat back. Do you still want to leave tonight? No. Why not? Because you did the work instead of performing it. She smiled, small, real. I want us. Not a man who pays me to like him. You deserve better than that, and so do I. I stood, took the duffel, and set it in the hall closet. Good. Then we're done solving this. That's it? She asked, half laughing with relief. That's it. I picked up the spare key from the table and put it back on my ring. No more committee meetings. Respect first. Everything else follows. A month later, the fridge sheet looked lived in. We'd added trash pickup, under utilities, and dropped cable after we realized neither of us watched it. We had a shared emergency fund with actual numbers. Half from me, half from her, and 30% from that envelope she'd thought was armor. She still had a personal stash for her own treats, and I had mine for tools and Saturday rounds at the range with Mark. No one resented the other's purchases because the base was covered before the bows. Luis waved when I pulled in with a used pickup I'd wanted for years. New toy, he called. New tool, I answered. Paid cash. Lauren came out with a pitcher of iced tea and leaned against the railing like she lived on that porch. "Looks good on you," she said. "You paid your half of rent today?" She smirked. Before coffee, we still had disagreements. She teased me once about being the bill guy, caught herself, and corrected it to my partner who keeps promises. She planned a weekend away and sent me an itinerary with prices and my half written next to the totals. It didn't feel petty. It felt like two adults not lying to themselves. We went to a friend's birthday at a bowling alley. Dana asked quietly if everything was stable now. Lauren answered before I had to. "We grew up this summer," she said. "Turns out grown-ups split load before they split dessert." Mark clapped me on the back later. "Spare room's still ready," he joked. "Keep the sheets clean anyway," I told him. "Not for me. Just because you should." He laughed. "You always were the reasonable one." Back home, we made dinner together without who paid what running like a ticker at the bottom of the screen. She reached for the salt and bumped my shoulder. "You know what I like best about the new system?" she asked. "That I stopped being your subscription? That I stopped acting like you were." She slid me the bowl. "You didn't pull me into this with drama. You laid it out. Then you stood there. That made it safe to actually change. I wasn't going to drag you. I was going to leave. And that," she said, "is why I believed you." We ate. We joked. We budgeted next month in 15 minutes, not 2 hours. She kept her self-care fund and used it on a weekend class she'd wanted for years. I used mine on a bench for the garage. The house felt lighter because we were carrying it together. A year from that first envelope, we sat on the same porch with the same iced tea, watching the late sun hit the neighbor's maples. She took my hand without calculation. "I'm glad you called me out," she said. "I'm glad you heard it." "Team," she repeated. "Not tap," I finished. We didn't divorce. We didn't shatter. We reset. Respect isn't grand. It's a boring set of rules you follow every single day. Boring is underrated. When she buys fancy shampoo, I don't make a point. When I order a part for the truck, she doesn't roll her eyes. The mortgage runs. The lights stay on. The envelopes hold movie tickets and gift cards now, not escape plans. People think happy endings are soft. They're not. They're hard lines drawn once and then kept without speeches. I didn't win by leaving. I won by refusing to live like a walking wallet and refusing to fight about it forever. She won by choosing a partner over a plan. That's our story. No fireworks. Just a final line we both kept. Respect first. Everything else follows.